It's going to take a little bit of time and then. Okay, so is there anybody else who would like to share their screen?
I can go.
Please.
So this is what I did. So since I don't have Illustrator on my laptop, I use a different laptop, so I don't have file, but so I just convert to PDF here. So this is the original typeface from Adobe like font library, and then I create an outline, and then just like try to be like, since the word is Waterloo, so I just want to give some like the feeling of the water like here, and then just play around with that. So yeah,
That's very clever. What do you guys think? Do you like it? I love it. Suna, this is looking really, really good. Now, you know, like I understand that I didn't give you guys enough time, but if I had given you enough time, I think you would have fixed a couple of areas. Let me just, hang on a second. Let me just highlight them. So there seems to be a teeny tiny bump there. I would have fixed that. And I would have also think about putting some kind of a wave into this upper stroke of the E as well. I'm not really sure whether it would work, but you know, like why not push it? And I really like how you place the two O's together. It kind of reminds me of an owl. It's cute. I'm not sure if it is water related, but it looks really cute. I love it. Thank you so much for doing this. What do you guys think? May I ask, how did you wave your letters?
oh, I just add anchor on it, and then manually just have a like, what is that, the arms,
Move
I don't know
it.
how to call it, but yeah,
Yeah,
just
yeah. Yeah. So that's a really, really good way of doing it, especially if you've worked with Illustrator for some time. You can be very precise. But if you're not very precise about it, another way to go about it would be to use the Pathfinder tool and create circles and elliptical shapes to kind of eat away from the T or add to the T, the stroke of the T. And we'll do a lecture like that, I think next week. But this week we're gonna stop because I don't want to overwhelm you guys. Any other questions for Suna? Thank you, Suna. This was a good solution. I like it.
thank you.
Who wants to go next?
I can go next.
Okay.
Okay. Mine's actually like really simple. So I kind of envisioned like a wine label or something. So I kind of took a lot of time finding the font that really I like. So I was going for like a vintage look. So I went with the like American like scribe, like I think the old scripture kind of thing. And then I just altered like the spacing of it because originally it was really crammed, and I added colors on the first two letters to make it more bold and enlarge them a bit. And yeah, I was just experimenting with the different fonts and kind of combining them with other fonts like that.
Yeah, I'm glad that you pointed out on that one thing, you know, the spacing in between the letters. We call it kerning. If you don't mind, let me go ahead and share my screen and show you how, you know, you can do something like that. And so let's go ahead and type. Okay, so let's make that beginning T as like the big T, and let's zoom in. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and change the font to a monospaced font, something like this. Now, is there, oh goodness, why? Ah, come on. I thought I changed it. What happened? Right, okay, okay. Is there anybody who notices something off here? Okay, I'm going to come out clean. It's called kerning. So when you double click on the word and when you go into the space in between two letters, I want you to look at this value over here in your type panel, and everything is set to 0. Yet our perception, our visual perception, is not measured with units, it's measured with space. So when you look at this T and this whole big white space in between, and then you look at Y and P and this space in there, and P and E and this space in here, this looks like a ginormous amount of space, doesn't it? And so what we do is we go into the kerning box and we reduce the value either one by one, or if you hold shift and down arrow on your keyboard, it'll go by, like tens. And that way you can manipulate the white space in between the letters to register in human eye to be somewhat equal. This has nothing to do with measurements. This has to do with our own vision and our perception. And there is a lot more information on this, but we will do them when the time comes. So not right now, but I just wanted to showcase this to you. Now, this area over here is kerning, and this is tracking. Now, tracking applies to the entire word. So you select the word and you say, hey, I want to go, minus 100. And, like the whole thing gets smaller. I mean, squisher, they kind of squeeze closer together. Or if you go to the plus area, then you end up with a lot of space. So tracking does it for the entire word or the paragraph or the line or whatever it is that you've selected. Whereas kerning will have to be applied in between the two letters. And so you'd have to place your cursor there and then reduce the amount of space in there. So that is called kerning, and you can do it on live text. And especially with logos and headlines, this becomes a really, really important area. So you gotta kern, you gotta learn how to kern. Okay, so I'm gonna stop sharing. Next person, please.
I could go.
Please, thank you.
So it's a random name. I just wanted to try to play with it and make it more cohesive, like a logo, not separate letters. Yeah.
I am seeing some really good gestalt here. Can somebody point it out? Does somebody see what I'm seeing? Look at the white spaces. Look at how originally she set her type, like these were disconnected, right? And then she almost connected them, creating this arrowhead over here, right? And then this wasn't connected, but then she connected it and she created this white space in here that almost looks like a thing. And then she's creating this white space over here. And on top of it, she's moving the counter space up over here, and it's adding a lot of character to the type. It's adding a lot of character to the font itself. Do you see the character and how it's created by just playing with positive and negative space? That's what I am referring to when I say it may be a good idea to go ahead and, do your first renditions of a logo in black and white, because when your visual vocabulary is limited, you push yourself to be a little bit more creative. Now, if I were to talk about, things that need improvement, I think that this area, like there's that tension there, like it's not quite curvy, it's not quite straight. There's that space. I'm like, I don't know, what's that? So I would probably address that. And I don't know, what else do you guys think? What else would you address? I mean, it's so beautiful. I mean, when you look at this angle, for example, this angle right over here, it's repeated, echoed right here. And these are the kinds of things that we like. I mean, this is naturally within the K itself, the letter. But then when Y came right next to that white space is not the same, but it's very similar. So it's like repetition in itself. The echo of that space, it's really nice. I really, really like that. So those are the areas that I like very much about the logo. Anybody else? Okay, thank you so much. Who's gonna go next then?
I can go next.
All right.
Oops. So this is what I did. I wanted to make it like the inside of like floating around like bubbles.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what I did.
And how did you do it?
I just created the outlines and then using the anchors to do them manually.
Mm-hmm. And each one of the counter space, the white space in the in the letter B is different, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So
That's
is
the
that what you
idea.
intended, or do you foresee them all being the same?
No, I want it to be different because like bubbles are like big and small and like floating around here and there.
Yeah. And what about E? Why didn't you do something with the E?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. I was too focused with the bees.
Is it too much? Yeah,
No.
I don't know. Yeah, it's really, really nice because she's played with the positive space and the negative space equally, and it does give you that feeling of bubbles. So that's a good concept. See, like when you have the perfect word to illustrate it, you really don't need to know a lot of Illustrator. If the concept is good, you know, you'll get there. Okay, who wants to go next?
I can go next.
Okay. Oh, look at that. I like this. Oh, she's even using a grid. Look at that. So why don't you talk to us, Patricia? Like, tell us what you did and how you did it and where the idea came from. You're mute.
Oh, sorry, I'm on mute. So I typed this as and D first, and they are bigger than the E and N. So I expand them so to bring this longer. And originally I have this D connected to the bottom, but it's really hard to read the E and N because it's connected. So I just do it this way.
Mm-hmm. Can you do me a favor and do command or control semi quotation marks for just a second?
Do you want to hide the grid?
The guides, yeah.
Um,
Uh-huh. What do you guys think?
Pretty.
I like this. It's really looking good. Patricia, do you like it? Is there any room for improvement in this one in your mind?
I don't like how the N and D connected together.
Mm.
And originally I have them separated, but it looks weirder. So I think it improved.
Yeah. I wonder if I'm just, you know, brainstorming right now. Hold on, annotation on. Okay. So I wonder if this stroke of the N came down all the way down here. What would that do? Do you want to go ahead and try it?
I
Select this tool and
yes.
then grab this anchor. There you go. Is that any better?
Yeah, I think I'm supposed to do that, but it slipped.
Okay. Yeah, I like it. I really, really like it. There's one thing that I would try right now, you know, like when you look at the counter spaces, the negative spaces within the letter shapes or within the words, like this area, like this area, this area, and this area, they're all somewhat small. And this is very, very big. What do you think about that? Does that put you a little bit like loop-sided?
I think I didn't realize that when I was making this, but once you mention it, that makes sense. I think by giving them more space, it'll make them better.
Okay, so how about closing up the negative space in D by using this tool once more, and this time grab like this area, you know, grab this one too together. So hold shift, and then pull them in a little. Pull both of them, right? There you go. Now, as you're also doing that, you're gonna have to also manipulate, yeah, those areas too. Right. Okay. So you're seeing that. Now you're gonna grab this and pull it out a little, or, you know, do something to kind of make that Right, you get the idea. Okay. 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 So
It's a little
it's kind of getting there. It's a little odd. I mean, we definitely need to work on the D, but now it doesn't look loop-sided.
yeah, it
Right.
looks better. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for sharing it with us. Who wants to go next?
I can go next.
Please.
So this is what I did. I did like a couple.
Whoa, she did a whole.
Yeah, I was just playing around. I just did a couple. This one is like frame, so I just think like it's like covering like as a frame, and then with the notes, I kind of like make the what do you call that, the hole to like it kind of looks like a book now. I like yeah, and then this one I'm just like combining the letters and extending the T.
Yeah, that looks very, very good. What is your favorite?
The frame, I think.
Okay, can we zoom in on frame? Thank you. And I want to pinpoint one thing. And, right now I'm just saying things because I want us to practice, okay? So what I want to show you is that this really beautiful soft curve, and why not have that copied over here and over here. And I'm also noticing that the line started thick right over here, and as we get over here, it got thin. So how could you go about it?
What do you mean by like?
Okay, let me just go ahead and offer what I would do if I were you. Can I share my screen? Okay. Okay, where's my sharing screen? Okay. So you're using frame. Okay. And your typeface was much nicer than this, actually. What is your typeface?
Futura.
Futura. Okay, let me see if I have Futura. Oh man, I don't have it. But this will work. It's similar. Oh goodness. No. Redo type style. Redo. Okay. How about this one? Our elephant frame. Oh. Okay, let's go with that. I think this is similar to yours anyway. So I'm going to go in here and see that, like you've got, I'm going to first off create outlines out of this and ungroup. Did I just do that? Yes, I did. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm doing this very sloppily, by the way, and I would make it better. But right now I'm going to do it very sloppily just so that we see how to go about things. So I'm trying to find the very, very high point of that letter shape F, and I think it's there. And so I'm going to grab this rectangle tool, and I'm just going to go ahead and, draw this right here. So it's not perfect, but I can live with it. you know, like I can even just go ahead and zoom in. And Command Y, by the way, Command Y is a tool that we use in Illustrator to see just the line work without the color, just so that, you know, like it is a little bit easier, or, you know, not easier, but you can see things a little clearer because you're not looking at a gazillion different things, right? So I'm going to Command Y it, and having selected both F and that blue bar, I am then going to go grab this dude, holding Alt. I'm just going to get rid of that part. And I can even get rid of, oh, no, I don't want to get rid of that. Okay, but I can maybe do this, right? So now it became all one shape. And then I can grab the direct selection tool and highlight these two anchor points at the same time. And let me zoom out. And zoom out a bit more. And then I'm going to right arrow until it goes over here, right? And then I'm going to give it a turn a little bit more, maybe, okay. And so to do that, I'm very lazy. I cheat all the time. I'm going to go grab this and, you know, like do something like that. Select both objects, grab this, Alt click. Okay, so now I have the same thickness of a bar. So if I were to rotate it and butt it at end to end, then that's kind of what is working for me here. And you also had this going this way, right? And so I'm going to copy paste, rotate, and come over here and go maybe all the way to the R. Okay, so now this is pretty much, you know, more or less what you did. My question was, why don't we have a curve like this here and here? Because we have those beautiful curves, right? So is there anybody who can say how to go about it? There's no one single solution to that. And some solutions are really quick and dirty. And some solutions are really thoughtful and elegant. So I'm going to go ahead and offer you a really quick and dirty way of dealing with that. So this time I'm using Pathfinder operations to unite all three shapes together so that they're all becoming like this one big shape. And then with the white arrow tool, if you were to go in there, you're going to see that widget. And what that widget does is it allows you to give you a you know, rounding. Goodness, I don't know what word I'm looking for, but you can see. Yeah, I don't see it over here. That's surprising. Typically, we do see that on both ends, but that's interesting. That's fine nonetheless. So I can also do something like this. I can draw an elliptical shape. And I don't want it to have a fill color because I want to see. Okay. And so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create a stroke. Let's put a different color to that one so that we can differentiate it. And let's zoom in there. So what I'm trying to do over here is I'm trying to create a circle or an elliptical shape that is going to mimic this roundness, so to say. So I might actually just go ahead and Command Y or Control Y on this to kind of overlap these strokes over there, and then I'm just going to go ahead and distort this circle into a elliptical shape until I get it just right. So it's going to take a little bit of trial and error, but you know, it's going to get there, as you can see. Different people do different ways. Some people would like to do, you know, like they want to go ahead and trace it with the pen tool. I like to use the actual shapes because I think that that way it gets a little bit more, you know, like accurate, or I feel securer that way. So you can just go on and on and on about it until you get this thing right. But I'm just going to call it quits over here, and I'm going to Command Y to see the color information. And then I place the stroke inside, okay? And then I'm gonna go ahead and increase the thickness of it, and I'm going to go also that way, and maybe this way a little bit, or even just grab the white arrow tool and just modify the anchor points. There you go. I think I've been pushing on the wrong. Let's look this, dude. Okay, so you see how I'm modifying this, right? And, you know, again, I'm just going to push and pull. Okay, anyhow, so once I am satisfied with it, I'm going to grab it, copy it, come over here and paste it, and also get the mirror image and align it just so that this aligns at the top and this aligns over here. I think that was the alignment, but even if it wasn't the alignment, you get what I'm talking about. Come on. Okay, so now that is done, I can use the Pathfinder or this tool to get rid of that and this, right? And then have this thing colored blue. Oh no, what just happened? Okay. Right, let's grab that and color that blue. Right, and then merge the colors. And so this is how you would do a dirty rendition of you know, like representing or creating or recreating this type of a thing. And once you have that, You could also use this end to mimic this softness, and you know, that's how you can have something similar to that round shape of the F. Another method would be to cut this roundness and copy paste it over there. And by copy pasting, I'm talking about using the Pathfinder operations or using the shape builder operations. Either way will work. Okay, so I feel like I spoke too much. Now let's go back to your work. Is there anybody else who would like to go? No, okay. So on EMS, I've created a spot for first Illustrator experiment. And what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and submit whatever it is that you did. And this assignment has only 3 days of a deadline. So because this is supposed to be taking place in class, I didn't give you a whole week. But the whole week exercise is going to be, I want everyone to pick a business, okay? Like small business, not a franchise, not a very well-known, but a small business like mom and pop shop, not a restaurant, not a coffee shop, but something else, like maybe a dentist, like maybe a lawyer, or something that you would see in your neighborhood, like a tailor even, you know, or a toy store or what have you. And I want you to come up with a name for this business. This business has to be a small business. It cannot be a big business, okay? It has to be small. And you are going to design the logo for it. So your first task is to find a name. Second task is to think about what the client would want, because you're also playing the client in this assignment. You're both the client and the designer. What does this client want? The client is a tailor. Her shop is on the corner of a very busy street, say in Cupertino. And she wants to attract young generation, because young generation doesn't go to the tailors, right? They go buy their stuff from department stores. And what kind of a name should she come up with? What kind of a logo should she use? So those are the questions that you are going to answer as an owner. You're not the owner, but you're going to put yourself in the shoes of the owner. And then as a designer, looking at those decisions, you're then going to come up with 6 ideations. And out of that 6 ideations, you're going to pick 2 ideas, 2 best solutions, let's say, 2 solutions. And you're going to digitize those 2 solutions and maybe give it a variation or 2, not necessary. Sometimes people come up with really good solutions. You don't need to give any variation at all. At other times, your creativity is like running amok, so you end up coming up with a lot of variations with those 2 solutions. So each solution should have 0 to 2 variations. I'm going to leave that up to you. So those variations, you know how I was talking about the CT and how that line was straight and or going up or going down. So those are the kinds of variations that you can come up with that do not require a lot of time investment, but they do give a different look to everything. So again, you're going to come up with a business. You're going to come up with what the client wants. You're going to come up with a name according to what the client wants. Then as a designer, you're going to sit down, sketch 6 ideations. And out of those ideations, you're going to pick the 2 best solutions. And those solutions are going to be digitized, nothing else. Are we good? Okay, so this assignment right now I'm giving you is going to build up and become your midterm. So pick something that you're gonna feel strongly about, that you know you're going to place in your portfolio, because we're going to be working on this. This is week 5, right? In the next coming, 2 more weeks. So, pick something that you're gonna like. Every week, we're going to do a little bit more, and until like week 8 or 9, we're going to come up with the basic identity pieces all together. Any questions?
Blue. So we are going to design a logo for a small business shop.
Yes.
Do we have to like approach them to talk about what they want?
Oh,
Or
no. No. This is not a real, like, you're not going to go ahead and talk to somebody. What you can do is, again, remember, it's not going to be a restaurant, because restaurant is going to be another assignment. So I don't want you to have 2 restaurants or a coffee shop. Non-food related, or it could be grocery store. So you can look around in your neighborhood and pick a mom and pop business that has a really, really bad logo, and you can borrow their concept and make the logo look nicer. So that could be one approach. Or you could invent the business. The business doesn't have to exist. You can just say, hey, I'm gonna work for a tailor. Or you can say, hey, like, I have this concept. I have this 65-year-old man who likes to build toys out of wood, and he wants to sell them. This is his shop, and I'm going to design his logo. You can say that too.
okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I really, really suggest taking a peek at the illustration videos that I have provided. There are some good things there that you may find useful, especially if you don't know the software very, very well. You can also look at YouTube. Some of the YouTube people do really good job. Like they really, really do. I enjoy watching their videos, and I sometimes learn stuff from them. But there's also a lot of junk in YouTube. Just be careful. And I think Frank's approach of like looking at which one is most liked or which one is most watched is a good way of differentiating what works and what doesn't work. Another is to look at Adobe certified tutorials, because Adobe sometimes hire tutors or teachers to kind of do their tutorial videos, and some of those videos also end up in YouTube. So those are some of the best ways of looking for free videos. Okay, any questions? All right, so if you guys have no questions, I'm gonna let you go. The short assignment, in-class assignment, is already in there. If you wanna spend the next hour working on that and submitting it early, it's up to you. Or if you feel like you wanna do it tomorrow, that's also up to you. This new assignment, the beginning of midterm, is going to be due next week. And if you submit work before the class, then we can talk about it. If you don't submit the work before the class, we can't talk about it. So organize your time accordingly. If you want feedback, submit early. All right. All right, then I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for being patient and listening. And I appreciate your work, your hard work and creativity. I loved all the solutions you guys came up with within like 15 minutes. That was very amazing to me. You guys are really awesome designers. Keep the work up. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Thank
Good
you.
night.